הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יללי, יללי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יללי, יללי. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Good morning, Shabbat Shalom. We're delighted to welcome you this morning, beginning with the words of Psalm 133 about coming together and how good and wonderful it is when we come together. Our approach to this whole lockdown has been that this is coming together. Wherever we are, separate as we are still together as community, and we invite you to join with us this morning as community in prayer together. There are two main ways that you can join our service this morning. So you can join us through Zoom, and Zoom is particularly good if what you want is to be able to see other people during prayer. And I will give you some instructions a little bit later on, specifically when we get to the Torah service, about how to use Zoom. But the important thing with Zoom is, firstly, you do not need to be visible to other people. You can switch yourself off. But if you choose to be visible to others, we ask you to remember that even though you're in your homes, you're still in shul, and that there are people coming to our service for all sorts of reasons this morning, including those who have recently lost someone or are remembering somebody. So we ask you just to remember that if you are visible, we ask you to behave as if you were in synagogue, please. If you want to be on Zoom but don't want to see other people, don't want to be distracted, then the way to deal with that is by putting yourself onto active speaker view, which you can find on the top right if you're on a PC, or on the left-hand side if you're on a tablet, and that will allow you just to see me, and then a bit later on, just to see into the Weinstein home when Josh reads Torah for us. You can also follow the Zoom screen via YouTube. And that's particularly good if what really matters to you is the quality of the sound. So what we've discovered over the last 8 weeks is that the sound quality is better on the YouTube feed than it is on Zoom itself, because of something that happens when it comes out of Zoom into people's homes through your computers. So if you're particularly concerned about the quality of the sound, then following on YouTube, which will be the active speaker view on YouTube, which you can find embedded on our website. And one last thing, which is to say, if you are on Zoom and you do start doing stuff which we think is challenging or disruptive, we have a number of moderators who are working with us through this service, and they will reach in and turn off your video. So please just be aware that that can happen. If you're following in the Siddur, we're turning to page 160 and beginning our service with the words of Matovu. Matovu ahalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. Matovu ahalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. V'ani b'rov chastecha v'ovetecha eshtecha ve'el kodshecha biratecha Adonai ahavti mometecha L'makom mishkan kvodecha V'ani eshtachave v'echra Evrecha lifnei Adonai osi V'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim b'rov chastecha Aneni b'emet yishecha. we're going to take the journey into waking up that is given to us by the Talmud by turning to what is Talmudically the first words you say as you wake up in the morning that you'll find on page 163. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tahorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tahorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tahorahi tahorahi. Atavarata atayitzata atanafachta bi v'tam shamra b'kirbi v'tatid nitla mimeni l'chaye olam. Kol zman shehaneshama b'kirbi, modeh ani lefanecha, Adonai Elohai v'Elohei Avotai, she'ata hu ribon kol ha'ma'asim, moshel b'chol habriot, Adon kol haneshamot, Baruch ata Adonai, ha'machazeh neshamot lameitim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzelem Elohim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo hasani nochri. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'lo hasani aved. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbih sharumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kufufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechin mitzarei gaveh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozei Yisrael b'gvorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam otei Yisrael b'tifarah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anoten layayev koach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavish sheina me'einai utnuma me'afapai. And having woken up, liturgically at least, we move on to the second section of our morning service, the Psuke de Zimra, where we prepare for prayer by singing together. We're on page 171. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch, leolam vaed. Vaya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yihiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Hoshienu Adonai Eloheinu, lehdot l'shem kodshecha, lehishtabech b'tilatecha. Baruch Adonai Elohei Yisrael, min ha'olam v'ad ha'olam, v'amar kol ha'am amen. Hallelujah. Kol ha'neshama Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Kol ha'neshama Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Baruch Shema V'Haolam, Baruch Hu, Baruch Omer V'Oseh, Baruch Ozeh Umakayim, Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Meshalem Sachatov Lirehav, Baruch Mavir Afela Umevi Orah, Baruch Achalad V'Kayam LaNetzach, Baruch Shein Lefanav Avla, V'lo Shicha V'lo Masof Anim, V'lo Mikach Shochad, Tzadiku b'chol d'rachav, v'chasid b'chol mahasav. Baruch podeh u'matzil, Baruch hamanchil menucha le'amo Yisrael, b'yom Shabbat Kodesh. Baruch hu u'baruch shemo, u'baruch zichro le'ol me'ad. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המלך הגדול והקדוש אף הרחמן, מהולל בפי עמו, ושובח ומפואר בלשון כל חסידיו ועבדיו. ובשירי דוד עבדך, נהלל לך אדוני אלוהינו, בשבחות וזמירות, נהודך נגדלך, נפארך ונמליכך, ונזכיר שמך מלכנו אלוהינו, יחיד כעולמים, משובח ומפואר שמו עד היד, ברוך אתה אדוני, מלך מהולל בתשבחות.
We just promised God that we're going to praise with songs and with psalms. So we're going to turn to page 176 for Psalm 92, the psalm that we sing on Shabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות.
עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור, כי שמחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מה עוד עמקו מחשבותיך. איש בעל לא ידע, וכסיל לא יבין את זאת. בפרח רשעים כמו עשב, ויציצו כל פועלי אבן, להישמדם עד עד. ואתה מרום לעולם אדוני. כי הנה אויביך אדוני, כי הנה אויביך יאבדו, יתפרדו כל פועלי אבן. ותרם קרן קני בלותי בשמן רענן. ותבט עיני בשורי, וקמים עליים רעים, תשמענה אוזני.
צדיק התמה יפרח, כארז בלבנון ישגה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. עוד ינבום בספר, דשנים ברעננים יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולה תעבור.
The sages of old would spend hours getting ready for prayer by singing together. One of the things that we've learned about Zoom is that hours don't really work. So we're going to begin our journey out of the Pesukei de Zimra and towards Baruch Hu when we come together in our formal prayer by turning to page 199. Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen ve'Amen. Baruch Adonai Elohim Elohei Yisrael, Osei Niflaot Levado, Ubaruch Shem Kvodo Le'olam, V'yimalech Kvodo et Kol Haaretz. Amen ve'Amen.
נשמת כל חי, תברך את שמך. אדוני אלוהינו, asa tefaher utromem zichracha malkeinu tamid min haolam ועד העולם אתה ומבלעדיך אין לנו מלך, גואל המושיע, פודה מציל ועונה מרחם. בכל יצרה וצוקה, אין לנו מלך עוזר וסומך זולתך. אלוהי הראשונים והאחרונים, אלוה כל בריות, אדון כל תולדות, המהולל בכל התשבחות, המנהג עולמו בחסד ובריותיו ברחמים, ואדוני לא ינום ולא יישן, המעורר ישנים והמקיץ נרדמים, מחי מתים ורופא חולים, פוקח עיוורים וזוקף כפופים, לך לבדך אנחנו מודים. And on page 203 in the middle of the page. Shochen ad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv rananu tzadikim b'Adonai la'yesharim Nava Tahila Bafi Yesharim Titromam Uvadivrei Tzadikim Titbarach Uvelshon Chasidim Titkadash ובקרב קדושים תתהלל. ישתבח שמך ליד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ. כי לך נאה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, לעולם ועד, שיר ושפחה, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והודאות, לשמך הגדול והקדוש, ומעולם ועד עולם אתה אל, ברוך אתה אדוני, בורא כל הנשמות, ריבון כל המעשים, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלכי one of the halachic or semi-halachic legal debates around how we do prayer on Zoom is whether or not we say out loud those things which require, according to Jewish law, a minyan. I'll speak a little bit more about that later in the sermon. But our tradition, as I alluded to at the beginning, has become that we understand this way of praying as being a community in prayer together. So we're going to rise together, those who wish, on page 206 for the words of the Baruch Hu as we come together as a community in prayer. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Ya la 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 la, ya la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai, Hamevorach, Baruch mevorach leolam vaed. Mevorach, mevorach leolam vaed.
And on page 207, please feel free to take your seats. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzeh or uvarei choshech, osei shalom uvarei et hakol, hakol yaducha v'hakol yishabechucha, v'hakol yomru ein kadosh kadonai, hame'ir laolam kulol yoshvav, uvtuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reshit, ma rabu ma'asech Adonai, kulam b'chokhma asita, mala haaretz kinyanecha, Hamelech hamromam levado me'az, hameshubach v'hamfu'a v'hamitnaseh mimot olam. Elohei olam, brachamecha harabim rachem aleinu, Adonu zeinu tzur miskabenu, magen yishenu miskav ba'adenu, O chadash shal tzion ta'ir, v'nizkechu lanu mehira le'oro, Baruch atah Adonai, yotzeh hamorot. With deep love you have loved us, and with great and overflowing tenderness you have taken pity on us. Source of our life and our sovereign, show us compassion because of your own greatness, and because of our ancestors who trusted in you. For you taught them rules to live by, to do your will with their whole heart. Let our eyes see the light of your teaching, and our hearts embrace your commands. Give us integrity to love you and fear you. So shall we never lose our self-respect, nor be put to shame, for you are the power which works to save us. You chose us from all peoples and tongues, and in love drew us near to your own greatness, to honor you, to declare your unity, and to love you. Blessed are you, God, who chooses your people Israel in love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderech, v'shochbecha uv'kumecha, v'kshatam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beineinecha, Uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha. And we're going to take some time to read the second paragraph of Shema, which you'll find on page 214 of our Siddur for ourselves, and then we'll come together to chant the third paragraph on page 216.
Hayom Adonai el Moshe le'emor, daber el bnei Yisrael v'amata lehem, v'asur lahem tzitzit al kanfei bigdeihem ledorotam, v'natnu al tzitzit hakanaf patil techelet, v'haya lachem לתציצית, הוריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תתירו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו, ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Tradition is that the next prayer, the Geula, leads us straight into the Amidah, the core of our service, what the rabbis referred to as Hatfilah, when we rise together for a series of blessings in a row together. Which means that now is my opportunity to tell you that there is another service this morning for those who would like it, starting at 11 o'clock, so just in a few minutes, coming from the respective homes of Rabbi Hannah and Cantor Tamara, is our Shacharit Den service, which is specifically targeted at primary school age children and their families, though obviously everyone is welcome to join via Zoom. So to join that, you need to obviously log out of the Zoom account that you're in and go again with the special details that you'll find on our website of how you'll get into that service. We are continuing on page 217 with the words of the Geula as we proclaim God's redemptive power. Emet v'yatziv v'kayam v'mekubal v'tov hadavar hazeh aleinu le'olam va'ed. Emet Elohei olam malkeinu Suri Yaakov magen yishenu l'dor vador hu kayam u'malchuto ve'emunato la'ad kayamet. Emet she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu podenu matzilenu me'olam hu shemecha ein Elohim zulatecha Ezrat avotenu atahu me'olam magenu Moshe lahem v'livnehem macharehem b'chol dor vador ashrei ish she'yishma lemitzvotecha v'toratcha udvaracha yasim al libo. Emet, atahu rishon v'atahu acharon, umibaladecha einanu melech goel Moshe, mimitzrayim galtanu Adonai Eloheinu, umibeit avadim peritanu, Moshe Miriam uvanei Yisrael, lecha anu shira b'simcha rabba, v'amru chulam. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Mi kamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neheda b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh feve. Shira chadasha shibchu geulim l'shimcha sfat hayam yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. To Yisrael, Kuma Bezrat Yisrael, Galeinu Adonai, Tzavahot Shemo, Kadosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael, Gal Yisrael, Yisrael. And we invite those who wish to rise as we turn to the Amidah, the core of our service, on page 222. Nine, 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 Adonai. Nine, 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 nai, Savatai tiftach. Yana nai, Ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Yana nai, Adonai. Yana nai, Savatai tiftach. Yana nai, Ufi yagid. Ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu, Elohei Motenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Havot V'emahot, ומביא גואל לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר משה ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם, פוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני יפה, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדום מלך. מלך ממית ומחיי ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל HaKadosh.
And we're going to continue with the Amidah, beginning with the Kedushat Hayom, the declaration of the holiness of the day, on page 227. We'll continue with the Amidah for ourselves. We're going to come together on page 233. Grant us peace, goodness and blessing, life, grace and kindness, justice and mercy. Source of our life, bless us all together with the light of your presence. For in the light of your presence, you give us, our living God, law and life, love and kindness, justice and mercy, blessing and peace. And in your eyes, it is good to bless your people Israel with the strength to make peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamavarech et amo Yisrael, b'shalom. Blessed are you, God, blessing your people Israel with peace.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי וגואלי Say shalom b'mromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
And I invite you to take your seats if you've been with us, standing with us through the Amidah. And we prepare to turn to our Torah service, in which Josh is going to read Torah for us, for his community, his family and friends for the very first time. A little bit of introduction to how the Torah service is going to work and how you can best enjoy it. So the first thing to say is we are not running a full Torah service while we are unable to use the synagogue building. The rabbis tell us that we should leave a corner of our houses unplastered as a sign of mourning. And so the Torah service functions as our corner of a house that's left unplastered, in which we are not trying to replicate it, but acknowledging that something very different is happening right now to where we would like to be, and that we yearn for a return to our normal communal life. So what that means is that in a moment we're going to turn to page 268 and have a very much shortened Torah service. However, the fact that we are unable to be together does not mean that our young people are not still reaching the age of 13 and becoming bar and bat mitzvah. So we are really thrilled that so many of our young people have decided to meet the challenge of trying to have a bar bat mitzvah over Zoom under lockdown, and that Josh is going to read Torah for us from home this morning. In order that you can best enjoy that, there are two things that you need to do. One is that if you are not watching on Zoom, then you might want to go on to Zoom now so that you can speak to Josh a little later, though you can still watch through YouTube. The second thing is that in order that when we go to the Weinstein house, your screen follows. If you haven't been watching up to this point on active speaker view, now is the time to turn it to that setting. So what that will mean is that at that point, you're going to jump to the Weinstein house to see Josh's face and to hear him read Torah. If you are watching currently still on our live stream this morning, then the live stream only covers what's happening here in the Beit Tefillah. So you really do need to go onto YouTube or onto Zoom if you want to be able to see and hear Josh. After all that preamble, we're going to turn to page 268 and in the middle of the page, sing words about the joy of Torah.
V'ha'enenu b'toratecha v'dabek lebeinu b'mitzvotecha v'yached levaveinu le'ahava u'lira et shemecha v'ha'enenu בתורתך, ודבק לבנו במצוותיך, ויחל לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך, שלא נבוש ולא ניכלם ולא ניכשל לעולם ועד, והעינינו בתורתך, ודבק לבנו במצוותיך, ויחל לבבינו לאהבה וליראה את שמך.
At the bottom of that page, appropriately, words from Nehemiah about the people remaining in their places whilst they read and are taught Torah. And if you want to follow from your place, then you can download a Torah sheet also from our website so you can follow with Josh. V'halavim mevimnim et ha'am laTorah v'ha'am al omdam. While the people remained in their places, the Levites taught them the Torah. They read in the book of the Torah of God, clearly giving the sense so the people understood the reading. Yamod Yehoshua ben Shimon v'Naomi Dashan Bal Koreh Bar Mitzvah Lidrosh v'Likrot HaTorah. Josh, rise up and explain and then read Torah for your community, your family and friends.
In my portion, we find rules for how the Israelites were to behave when they were living as farmers on the land. Moses explains to the people how God wants them to live and what to do on the land. The underlying idea expressed in my portion is that we don't own the land, but live on it as tenants. We should respect the land and think about how we live on it as it belongs to God. There are two ideas that come from this: that we should look after the land and that we should also think about how we live with others on it. Both of these ideas feel very relevant at this time. After decades of relentless pressure on the earth, the lockdown has meant that the planet is literally calmed. The land has been able to rest for 6 short weeks, and now we see remarkable pictures of the reduced carbon emissions from space. This is a reminder of the impact that we have on the world we live in and our responsibility to it. The second idea is also very relevant today. My portion demands that we should care for those in need. For example, we should welcome those who have become poor, whatever the circumstance, and treat them well. We should let them into our home and may not force them to pay interest on what we lend to them. Whilst we're living in this pandemic, my family and I have been caring for people by offering them food when they cannot get to the shops. On my street, we enjoy the weekly claps for the NHS, and we have set up a group WhatsApp where people can ask for help. Also, in my household, for every book that we read in lockdown, we are donating money for the NHS. Mum's tricked me to get me to read more as words. When this ends, I hope to complete the London Bridge Challenge Walk, because I think many charities will need our help in the future. So, what has my portion taught me? I've learned that our tradition asks us to really think about our behaviour towards other people and the land we live on. I need to always be respectful to everyone, whatever their circumstance, and to treat the land correctly as it is not our own. Baruch et Adonai Hamavorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et toratoch. Baruch atah Adonai, noten ha'torah. V'natna ha'aretz peria, va'ahaltem lasova. וישבתם לבטח עליה. והיא תאמרו מה נאכל בשנה השביעית. הן לא נזרה ולא נאסוף את תבואתנו. וצוויתי את ברכתי לכם בשנה השישית, ועשת את התבואה לשלוש השנים. וזרעתם את השנה השמינית, ואכלתם מן התבואה ישן. עד השנה התשיעית, עד בוא תבואתך, תאכלו ישן. והארץ לא תמחה לצמיתות, כי לי הארץ, כי גרים ותושבים אתם עמדי. ובכל ארץ אחוזתם, גאולה תיתנו לארץ. כי ימוך אחיה, ומחה מאחוזתו, ובא גאולו הקרוב אליו, וגאל את ממך אחיו. ואיש, כי לא יהיה לו גואל, והשיגה ידו, ומצא כדי גאולתו. והישב את שני ממכרו, והשיב את העודף לאיש אשר מכה לו, ושב לאחוזתו. ואם לא מצא ידו, די השיב לו וחיה ממכרו. ביד הקונה אותו, עד שנת היובל, ויצא ביובל, ושב לאחוזתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
יעמוד שמעון בן דניאל לקראת התורה.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בחר בנו מכל העמים ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה.
ואיש, כי ימכור בית מושב עיר חומה, והייתה גאולתו. עד תום שנת ממכרו, ימים תהיה גאולתו. ואם לא יגאל, עד מלאת לו שנה תמימה, וקם הבית אשר בעיר, אשר לא חמה. לצמיתות לקונה אותו לדורותיו, לא יצא ביובל. ובתי החצרים אשר אין לכם חומה סביב, עד שדה הארץ ייחשב, גאולה תהיה לו, וביובל יצא. וערי הלוויים, בתי ערי אחוזתם, גאולת עולם תהיה ללוויים. ואשר יגאל מן הלוויים, ויצא ממך בית ועיר אחוזתו ביובל. כי בתי ערי הלוויים, היא אחוזת בתוך בני ישראל. ושדה מגלש עליהם לא ימחה, כי אחוזת עולם הוא לכם. וכי ימוך אחיה, ומטה ידו עמה, והחזקת בו. גר ותושב וחי עמה. אל תיקח מאתו נשר ותרבית, ויראתך מאלוהיה, והי אחיה עמה. את כספך לא תיתן לו בנשר, ובמביט לא תיתן אוכלך. אני אדוני אלוהיהם, אשר הוצאתי אתם מארץ מצרים, לתת לכם את ארץ כנען, להיות להם לאלוהים.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת, וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
חזק חזק ונתחזק. Josh, you've just read for us You deserve that kiss, by the way. That was really beautiful to hear you read Torah so well. And you just read for us the last sidra of the book of Leviticus from Parashat Bahar B'chukotai as a double portion. And it's traditional, as I just did, to sing the words Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek on finishing a book of Torah. It means be strong, let us strengthen one another. And what you've done this morning, Josh, is to demonstrate strength. And in fact, you have fulfilled that word nit chazek. Let us be strong by strengthening those around you. In fact, you and all of your peers who are becoming bar and bat mitzvah in this extraordinary circumstances are exemplars for all of us of strength as we grapple with our adjusting lives. So I know about you that you are someone who embraces life, someone who gets on with challenges and dedicates yourself to getting things right. I know that you have a good and sensible head on you. And yet, even with all of those qualities, it would have been understandable if the last few weeks had caused you more than a little distress. If you had found this extraordinary change to your bar mitzvah difficult to deal with. But certainly in my interactions with you over the last few weeks, you have given me no hint that you have been anything other than calm and wise and thoughtful about it. The resolve and the wisdom that you've shown, the strength you have shown, is an example to all of us. And I want to commend you on that, because it really has been remarkable. And you should remember how remarkable it is and how remarkable you are. And I want you to remember that always, and to find in this experience the strength to do the amazing things that I know you have in you for the future. And as you do so, Josh, there's one other thing I want you to remember. That last bit of Chazak, Chazak, V'nit Chazek. Let us strengthen one another. Wherever we are right now, there are hundreds of people who are invested in this experience with you. Your family, your friends, and your community. Over the years to come, may you allow them to be a source of strength for you, to fill you with strength, V'nit Chazek, to enable you to do the amazing things that you can do. And may you also remember to be a source of strength and example for all of us, as you have been this morning. Mishaberach Avoteinu v'Imotenu. May the one who is a source of blessing for our ancestors be a source of blessing for Josh, who has read Torah for his community, for his family and friends for the very first time on reaching the age of mitzvot. May he enjoy the blessing, the vision that he read for us in his portion, Vishavtem al haaretz lavetach. May you live on the land in security, which, as he will explain in a moment, is a very appropriate Eilif blessing for a Weinstein. May Josh continue to bring his dedication, his resolve, his strength to his Jewish life, and thus may he become a source of blessing for his family, for the family of Israel, and for the family of humankind. And let us, wherever we are, say, Amen. Josh, I'm going to invite you to read the piece that you've written for this moment in your Jewish life to your family, friends, and community, wherever we are. If you want to rise and read your bar mitzvah prayer for us.
I've been coming to Eilif all my life, just like my dad and my grandpa, Daniel Weinstein, who founded the first security committee at Eilif. He started inviting congregants to partake in security duty, something that continues today. My first memories of coming to Eilif are of the kindergarten and then the Shabbat services when I was 4 years old. I loved the big band service and really connected to the music. It had a big impact on me and inspired me to start learning the guitar, which I've been playing for about 5 years. When I'm older, I would like to be a musician. Music is my passion, and I believe that I will find the space to give joy to my community and other communities by playing the guitar to them. In my time at Ruach, I went on the residential and Budapest trips. Budapest was the best thing that I've done with Aleph. The mix of leaders, education, and the people there made it feel special and brought a real sense of connection. I knew a lot of people there, but not well, and getting to know them better whilst we were abroad was a very good bonding experience. My family has been the biggest influence on my Jewish life. We do something together for every festival, and and usually go to services at Aleph. I'd like to continue doing that as I grow up, connecting to the community, to festivals, and my family. I want to keep coming to Aleph and be a mentor. Ruach has always felt exciting and fun, even when we're learning things. So I want to be part of the group of people who can make it fun for others. My portion is about giving to people. This way I can give to people in my community. I think being generous, kind, and willing to give to people in need is really important. I hope I can be those things as I become an adult.
Amen. We hope you can become those things as well, Josh, and we look forward to seeing you continue to develop and grow and bring your talents and your strength to your community. Normally at this point, I would be able to give you a gift on behalf of the shul, but I promise you there will be a time when we are back together on this bima and able to give you a present and give all of our Bnei Mitzvah a present and celebrate again together. But for now, we're going to mark this moment in Josh's life, as is our tradition as a community, by inviting everyone wherever you are to rise. And we're going to say a Shechianu, the blessing that we say on reaching new things. We're going to say a Shechianu to celebrate reaching this moment in Josh's life. And then immediately after our Shechianu, we're going to unmute everybody and just give you a couple of minutes to wish Josh well Ollie just came very close to the screen, to wish Josh well and to pass on our greetings to him. So we're going to rise together and say Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
Hey, well done, amazing.
Your parents, everybody.
Beautiful prayer and really good lockdown.
And then we go to gather again.
Oh no.
We can hear us now. Ask. Review.
Gosh, you did brilliantly.
Yes, Josh.
Josh.
Sam.
Got in before that.
Dumb.
That's not great. We literally.
Muscle tov.
Shalom.
I'm actually right
Everyone's left. No,
Zid Morad.
Yeah, well done, Josh. You did really well.
I'm still muted, looks as if he's in the sound. This is back up.
I'm not.
So let's see what just tell it.
Axel's got his camera
בטחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבטחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לי, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. Yalla lai yai lai 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 yai yai lai. Just as we celebrate together, we also stand with one another in times that are more difficult as well. So coming out of this celebration and the joy that we've shared with Josh, we also know that among us are those who are concerned for someone. And that there are many in our community who are currently in need of our prayers and of our support.
So we take a moment just to think of those in need of our prayers and our support at this time, to reach out to them, both through prayer, but also to commit to do so after we finish, to go out and to phone and reach out to those in need of our support. So we'll just take a moment to name in our hearts those in need of our prayers at this time. Eternal God, be a source of blessing and of strength for them and for those who care for them. Baruch atah Adonai makor refuah. Blessed are you, eternal God, the source of healing. Tradition is that after a piece of Torah of study, we say Kaddish de Rabbanan, which is a special Kaddish, which you can find on page 270 and 271 of the Siddur. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon uvyamechon, uvchaye d'chol beit Yisrael, b'gala v'zman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudsha b'richu, La'ela min kol bechata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, diamiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Al Yisrael, va'al Rabbanan, va'al Talmidehon, va'al kol Talmidehon, va'al kol man di askim ba'oraita, di ba'at rahadein v'di b'chol ata v'ata, yehei lahon ulachon, shlama rabba, china v'chista, V'rachamin v'chayin, arichin umzona, ruvicha ufarkana, min kodam avuhon di vishmaya, ve'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol ha'olam, ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru, amen. V'daber Adonai el Moshe b'har Sinai lemor. Adonai spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai, saying, so begins the parasha Bahar from which Josh read for us this morning, which on reflection is rather odd. We are most of the way through Leviticus, 15 weekly portions since the reading of the narrative of Sinai. And suddenly, out of nowhere, we're told about location. The other sections in Leviticus haven't begun in this way. We've had a great deal of God spoke to Moses, but no location, no on Mount Sinai. This is new. So what are we to make of it? Is the implication that this is a distinct bit of text, separate from the others? Or maybe, perhaps, does it actually mean that this section was given on Sinai and not everything else that we've been reading in Leviticus? The early Midrash on the book of Leviticus, Sifra, is very aware of these possible implications. If you've got a Torah supplement there, you can find the text of Sifra in that sheet. It asks, Ma inyan Shemitah etzel ha-Sinai? Why is the section on Shemitah, on the sabbatical year from which Josh read for us, why is this juxtaposed with? Why is it placed on Mount Sinai specifically? Why the question? Sifra continues, V'halo kol ha-mitzvot na'amru mi-Sinai. Weren't all of the mitzvot stated at Sinai? Why is it necessary to say this? And by saying it, isn't the implication that the other bits weren't? This is Sifra's answer. It tells us, just as in the case of the laws of Shemitah, its klalot, its general rules, and its dikdukim, its fine details, were given on Mount Sinai, thus with all of the commandments. That is, the Sifra observes, our portion is full of detail, full of information about how to do the rules of sabbatical and jubilee, and is specified as given on Sinai. So, Sifra argues, this phrase comes to teach us that we can also learn that the rest of the mitzvot also have that level of detail, also given on Sinai. As the scholar David Weiss Halivni puts it, the laws of Shemitah are treated as paradigmatic of all other laws of the Torah, to indicate that, for example, the prohibitions concerning Shabbat, only intimated at in Torah, were also revealed by God in much fuller detail. Now, this may sound contorted, convoluted. In fact, it's one of those wonderful pieces of intellectual creativity, some might use the word contortion, thrown up in our tradition. A feature of the text which is itself pretty strong evidence of the composite nature of Torah is brought as proof not only for the unified and divine nature of Torah, but also, it turns out, for the details of its application, rabbinic law also being divine in origin. In Sifra, this troublesome verse, with all of its scary implications, is transformed into a proof text for one of the earliest rabbinic texts to claim that not only the written Torah, but also what is known as the oral Torah, the accompanying set of rules about application, were both given by God to Moses on Mount Sinai. So many of the conversations that we have about our Jewish lives hang on a question of reading, exemplified by our treatment, our understanding of this single verse. To caricature the question for brevity, do we start with the text and see these kind of moments in it as evidence of Torah's non-unified nature, that this is a work made up of multiple parts woven together over time? Or do we, as Midrash Sifra does, begin with the theological position of Torah min hashamayim, Torah from heaven, and find evidence of it wherever we look? Now, most of the time, for most Jews, this doesn't matter. Most of the time, for most Jews, this is a pretty hypothetical question. In truth, we live the Jewish lives that we prefer. Most Jews do not have to encounter these sorts of theological, ideological questions in any real way. But sometimes they really matter. Sometimes these questions, this question of reading, confronts us head on, and never more so than today. Because how we read this one verse, our answer to that question, has shaped the different Jewish responses to the extraordinary circumstances in which we find ourselves, and will continue to do so over the challenging months ahead. So do we run a service like this on Zoom on Shabbat? That I feel able to do so is determined by my understanding of the authority of Torah and the rabbinic oral tradition. Whether we understand electronics as being a form of malacha, of work, prohibited on Shabbat, depends on whether we understand not just Torah as divine in origin, but also its interpretation in the oral tradition. So the question of its origin and authority, exemplified by how we read that first verse of our portion, is key. Are we able to say Kaddish online? A source of great controversy and stress, particularly in the Orthodox world. The underlying question is whether what we are doing now, together, is understood to be a community in prayer together. If it is, then can it therefore say Kaddish? Or does the word community have a technical definition found in rabbinic literature? Because there it means minyan, 10 people. Well, actually, in there it means 10 men, together in a room. And therefore, virtual minyanim does not count. Of course, rabbinic literature had no concept of Zoom, no ability to know that we could do this. So, of course, it demanded that people be in the same room together. But does that matter? Is this a divine ruling with eternal weight given on Sinai, as Sifra claims, or a human answer from a very, very different time? The claim of Sifra is no longer hypothetical, but a very real question. And sadly, our answer to these questions have also had, and are likely to continue to have, life and death consequences. Many of those for whom Sifra speaks, for whom the rabbinic laws of Minyan are understood to have originated on Sinai, continue to seek to be together, and especially on Shabbat. And as we journey further into this period, and I spoke last night at length about the challenges that will face us over the months ahead. As we journey further into this period, we will all share a yearning. All of us who are passionate about our Jewish lives will share a yearning for a return to our communal life. But how we respond to that yearning will be shaped by how we read that verse. Behind the scenes, pressures are already being applied to government to enable a quick return to communal life, despite everything that we know about places of worship and communal singing as high-risk places and activities, because of the understanding of Sifra. Now, importantly, the response of the chief rabbi of the United Synagogue yesterday must be applauded, as he urged caution against premature reopening of shul life, despite the cost for those with his theological worldview. So this theological, ideological question is no longer hypothetical, but very, very, very relevant to our lives. It shapes how innovative we can be in this crisis. The flourishing of amazing and wonderful creativity across progressive Judaism has been possible because of our theology, because of our understanding of the origin and authority of Torah and oral law, exemplified by our reading of that single verse. Now, I am not raising this in any way to be disparaging about those who believe in the divine nature of the rabbinic tradition. It is not my position, but it is a clear and honorable belief. The outcomes may sometimes, as today, be difficult to my eyes, but they make total sense. That classical position is coherent and worthy of a great deal of respect, at least as far as it does not start posing risk to people's lives. But there is a third ideological position about our verse, about Torah from Sinai, which is far less clear. One that is being tested to breaking point by this situation. It is a position that says that Torah and the oral tradition were not given at Sinai, That is, it reads our verse in exactly the same way as we might do, as evidence of the composite nature of Torah. It recognizes, as we do, the profound importance of that text from Sifra in the history of our people, but does not agree with it as a description of what happened. And yet it still argues that we have to keep the rabbinic law as if it were divine and eternal, even in the face of the extraordinary circumstances we now encounter. This position is the position of the majority of Jews in this country, and it isn't tenable. Because it's a position that says that we still have limited authority to innovate, to vary, and that this is true even in, to use the halachic terminology, shat hadchak, in times of pressure of crisis. It states that the parameters of our religious life are firmly set for us. It effectively abdicates responsibility for our religious choices to a text it recognizes to be all too human and to have its own human history. And that position must be tested by a situation such as this, where we face a choice between conservatism and creativity, between innovative communal life together and the choice of impatience and withdrawal. In the movement which particularly holds this position, the crisis has revealed how much less flexible and modern it is in its application than its proponents once thought, producing a gap between rabbinic ruling and congregational need and preference. But in a very welcome development this week, the American conservative movement, which, in common with its British equivalent, had prohibited use of electronic devices on Shabbat and festivals, even in the face of global pandemic, moved to close that gap. On Thursday, it issued a limited teshuvah, allowing for live streaming in its communities, an innovation which is to be welcomed as we think about how we move forwards in our Jewish communal life in the months ahead. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe b'Har Sinai. Adonai spoke to Moses on Mount Sinai. You would normally pass over it. It seems so harmless, just another introductory verse to another section of Torah. But behind it, or how we read it, is a debate that shapes the whole nature of our Jewish lives. One of the many extraordinary things that coronavirus has done for us is to bring this to the surface, to show the difference between a form of Judaism which is not bound, not handcuffed to our old traditions, but is able to be creative and innovative, to use new technology, to embrace it in order to create an ongoing communal life, and one which is not. No longer are our ideological positions and questions mere intellectual positioning. No longer are our Jewish choices simply a matter of preference, but sometimes of life and death. So how we read that verse has very real consequences, not just for how we live our Jewish lives, but potentially for our well-being as a whole. Shabbat Shalom. We are going to turn to page 310 as we move towards the conclusion of our service with the words of the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabach l'adon hakol, l'tegru l'aliotze bereshit, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Shehu noteh shamayim v'yoser haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mimal u'shchinatu zo
b'gov hei meromim. Hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu, efes ulato, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת Einod. And on page 313, Al Kain Nakavelecha Adonai Eloheinu, Lirot Mehera Betiferet Uzecha, Lahavig Lulim Min Haaretz, Vahalilim Karot Jikreitun, V'taken Olam B'malchut Shaddai, V'chol B'nei Vasai Yikru Vishmecha, Lahafnot Elecha Kori She'aretz, Yakiru v'yedu kol yoshvei tevel, ki shutafim kulanu b'tikun olamecha, ki hamalchut shelcha hi, olol me'adsim loch b'chavod, kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. V'nehema v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz, Bayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, Ushamo echad. The defining principle of Aelith's response to lockdown has been that our building may be closed, but our community is open. We understand, as I said, this as community. It's not the community that we want to be, but it is the community that we have to be. And through the wonders of technology, we can be together. We can celebrate together, and similarly, we can mourn together. And so we continue as a community to recite the Mourners Kaddish together, that you'll find on page 316, to recognize that among us are those who are in mourning, now more than ever. On this Shabbat, we announce the death of Joan Poulis. We pray that God will be a source of comfort to all who mourn for her. We join too with all of those in our community who are in the Shloshim and the Shana, the traditional periods of mourning after loss of a loved one. And we join with all of those marking a yahrzeit, remembering the anniversary of the death of a loved one. We remember with them Sharon Atalay, Nico Bar Yaakov, Hannah Bierman, Ashton Bernstein, Monty Basinski, Mihaly Bronstein, Sydney Brown, David Cohen, Dorrie Cohen, Joan Cove, Lily Dewian, Bertha Epstein, Sam Gerber, Daniel Gertler, William Gold, Gaston Henry Florin, Michael Jaffa, Sheila Kay, Jacob Klein, Esther Langdon, Brian Levi, Veronica Levi, Sheila Levy, Seymour Lewis, Wilfred Merkel, Roy Morris, Michael Myers, Joseph Auden, Frida Palms, Arnold Price, Philip Rochman, Harry Ross, Rose Rubin, Kanam Samya, Morris Savage, Toddy Schrerer, Gertrude Smith, Heinz Spitz, Henry Steinberg, Benzion Weinstein, and Alexander Williams. Zichronam Livracha, may their memory be for a blessing. In loving memory, we invite everyone who comes to this Shabbat in mourning to recite with me the words of the Mourners Kaddish that you'll find on page 316. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah,
Balma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon. U'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael. B'galav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach la'alam al'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitale v'yitalal shmei kudsha b'richu. La'ela min kol bechata v'shirata. Tishbechata v'nechemata. V'yameran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol ha'olam. V'imru amen. So invite you, if you stood up for Kaddish, to take your seats. Once again, I want to wish congratulations to Josh for having shown such remarkable resolve and brilliance as he's approached his bar mitzvah with such calm and wisdom. I want to pass on our thoughts and our words of comfort to all in our community who come to this Shabbat in mourning. And we are here for you. If you are currently in difficulty, just reach out to us as a community. We are here to look after one another through these difficult times. Our goal throughout this lockdown and going forwards continues to be to provide a full and rich and nourishing program of Jewish life with learning and prayer and study, and diverse sorts of services all the way through. This coming week on Tuesday evening, you can join us for our annual iftar. It's obviously not going to be the iftar that we hoped it would be. We're not able to welcome people into our community and feed them, but we are going to be joining with Muslim colleagues, teaching together, and we're going to be hosting a number of different people through the evening. And you can find the details of how to join on our website for our annual, on this occasion, pre-iftar study evening. Just to remind you also that Shavuot is coming up. You can see our Omer calendar next to me is getting incredibly full, and we're getting close to Shavuot. So our Tikkun Leil Shavuot is on the evening of the 28th of May, and we'll be studying through the night, running our Tikkun Leil in partnership with our friends and colleagues at Finchley Reform Synagogue and Radlett Reform Synagogue. The 10 members of clergy of those three shuls together will be teaching through the evening. We'll also be having a special session with Rabbi Professor Tony Bayfield, who's going to give our keynote. And in the evening, at about 10:45-ish, we're going to be joined live from America by Dan Nichols, who's a singer-songwriter. Many of Dan's melodies we sing in our community. So Dan will be joining us at about 10:40 on Shavuot evening as well. So we'll be studying text and all sorts of other interesting things through the evening, and more details will be released on Monday evening of this week. We're going to conclude by singing together Adon Olam on page 320. We will see what melody comes out of my mouth. Who knows? We'll find out. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Leit Nasa Techefso Kol Azai Melech Shemon Nikra V'yacharei Kichlot HaKol Lavado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Hove V'hu Yeh B'tifara V'hu echad v'ein sheni l'am shelo l'achbera v'li reishit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamizra v'hu eli v'chai gali v'tzochev li v'yom tzara v'hu nisi u'manusi manat kosi v'yom etra Bayado Avkid Ruchi Beit Ishan Ve'a'ira Ve'im Ruchi Gaviati Adonai Li V'lo Ira. And it's become our tradition to end our services with Kiddush, even though we're not together. So we can turn together to page 454. We invite you, if you have Kiddush prepared, to join with us in singing the Kiddush together. And then immediately that we've done Kiddush and the wine, we don't do hamotzi because people will go and wash their hands. But between the wine and hamotzi, we're going to give you the opportunity to wish each other Shabbat Shalom and speak to each other by unmuting you again just for a little while at the end of our service. So Kiddush is on page 454. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. זכור את יום השבת לקדשו. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. L'chaim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, John.
She did amazing.
And tradition.
You're right on screen.
Congratulations,
Josh. Well done.
The newer version.
That's nice.
Awesome, John.
You're so high on this page. It's ridiculous.
Oh, bless.